Tansy Brook, the Senior Director of ERP Innovation Product Marketing. And today I'm joined by Maz Songerwala, the Senior Vice President of Application Service Excellence at Oracle. Maz, it's so great to be speaking with you today.
Thanks, Tansy. It's lovely to be here.
I've been looking forward to connecting with you because I think one of the most exciting things at Oracle is our relationship with our customers. And I think the service department is, the services that we provide for our customers is one of the best indications of those types of relationships that we have with our customers. So can we start off by having you maybe just tell me a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from a services world, right? My whole career is based on various roles around the services business, whether that was support, professional services, customer success, customer experience, in a multitude of different technology areas, infrastructure, platform, and now applications. And the entire evolution of this has been keeping pace and exceeding pace, in fact, of what clients are starting to expect as they consume capabilities from technology, right? Because ultimately, it's a capability that they're buying. Yes, it's manifested in a particular product, but the actual outcomes they're trying to derive from that specific capability is more than just that widget. It's about how do they operationalize this within their business. And that comes with this notion of a services mindset.
I think the relationships that customers want to have with their businesses are evolving. And one of the most fundamental things is they want to have a trusted relationship. And I'm curious, how do you see Oracle really building those trusted relationships with customers?
I get asked this all the time. Hey, your product looks great, but how are you going to support me throughout this journey? So one of the big things that we've done is really, instead of taking this inside out lens, here's a support organization, here's a customer success organization, here's how to work with them, we needed to completely take a orthogonal view to that, which is what is the journey? And how do you deliver a continuity of experience within that journey? So it starts with, okay, I've made a decision to go with you as my technology partner. How do I do readiness and onboarding? What do I need to know as a customer to be successful here? For example, what governance model do you have in place? How are you going to run this implementation project? Do you have the right systems integrator skills and capabilities in place? How often do we want to connect? What kinds of steering committees do we want to have together? There's a whole plethora of things you go through. That then goes into implementation and going live, right? It's a big bucket, but I put them together because once a customer is live on a technology, that's when the clock starts on value. Secondly, it's value realization. So what are you using? How much of it are you using? Are you using it to recommended best practice? How do you compare against your peers? And can I connect your usage to the actual business outcomes that you're trying to drive? For example, I'm able to close my books 50% faster. Like, okay, how would I measure that? And how does the technology enable that? So all of that is a journey, right? And so what we've done is we've said, look, our clients expect help every step of the way, where we provide that help with context. So how do you do that? You can do that in an automated way. You can do that digitally, but we assign named resources that the client can tap into during implementation. So customer success is where you really are advising and providing guidance to the customer on how should you be using this technology? Are you ready once you're live? For example, do you have your operational runbooks in place? Do you have the right governance model after you're live? And what we've done is we said, look, for all of that, we're going to do this as part of just the subscription. This is part of the experience. This is not a additional fee tied to some consulting offer. Because there is an expectation from our customers because it's not them in the data center anymore. How are you stepping up to help me?
One of the areas I think is so powerful with cloud is the ability to evolve the business. And part of that, I think, is the relationship we have with customers and getting feedback on the product, on their needs, their wants, and being able to apply that to the entire suite of products that we have. How do you see us integrating that customer feedback into our product development?
So I lead an organization, Application Service Excellence, which is global support capabilities for applications as well as customer success and the functions around that. I work in the development organization, so we sit side by side. There isn't a separate services organization here at Oracle. Now, this was done so that we could remove the artificial barriers that reporting hierarchy sometimes provides, and mobilize around what does transformed customer experience really mean. So what I tell my teams is, we are the single biggest listening post for customer sentiment that Oracle has around applications. How? because you see all of the support tickets that are coming in, which range from how do I to why is this to, oh my goodness, something's happening, right? There's a set of information there, which, yes, you have to help solve the problem, but you have to abstract this out and say, well, what trends are we seeing? So one of the big things we've done is there's just a new muscle now, which every single product support team looks at what's come in, which ones of these should be in the product. Maybe the product wasn't intuitive enough. There were 15 steps when there should only be 3, because we've seen 200 support tickets being raised around how do I do this? Or, you know what, it's not something that can be in the product, but your help better be better so that self-service can happen. I can do a Google search and get the answer. It doesn't require you to actually have a support interaction. Another major listening post is our community. So our online community is where our customers and partners are talking about the product and how they're using the product, or lodging enhancement requests. So this is where an idea is provided, hey, I'd love your product to have this feature, and they're upvoted by others who are also interested in that particular feature. The majority of our product roadmap is basically gleaned from that input, right? So that's a way of influencing future direction. This is coupled with, advisory boards and all the typical things you'd expect around where are you going and how are you going to enable, my oil and gas business or my financial services business. So a lot of this is now being captured in a way that maybe in the past wasn't. And we're trying to make this valuable regardless of where you sit in the organization.
I know we talk a lot about how emerging technology can help improve customer experiences within our platform. I'm curious, are there areas where we've leveraged emerging technology to help provide a better customer experience?
We are on a journey with this as well, right? So if I zoom in an area, which let's call this technical support. So what do I mean by that? Things like operational / performance / environmental characteristics or issues that may pop up. In each of those, the customer shouldn't need to tell us that, oh, I'm having major slowdown, or, oh, I can't log in. We should have that telemetry and monitoring and proactive and predictive mitigation to address those issues before they become issues. So this is where you can use machine learning, you can use deep pattern recognition, you can build out patterns or signatures, which are today maybe locked in people's heads, that would actually be built into the automation so you can react. So we'll see more and more in this space. One of the areas we also want to invest is next best recommended action after a support ticket is closed. If I've asked you a question on X, what do 80% of other customers typically ask after this, right? So that's where, again, machine learning can be applied. And over time, that's really where we want to go, right?
Sounds like there's a lot of great ways that technology and people are working together to provide a better customer experience.
Well, absolutely, right? And to do that, we need to mobilize, A, culturally, B, what are we going to measure, right? C, how will we know we're successful? Because it's easy to have an inside lens to say, hey, I see my support tickets coming down over time. I see my customer satisfaction on support tickets, getting better over time. But these are all activity metrics. They're a proxy for experience, but we need to see, our customers going live on time? Are they referenceable for us? Are they using the product and growing their use, not only from a number of seats perspective, but features, right? Are they achieving their business outcomes because of that? Do we see that in their appetite to continue working with us and growing their Oracle footprint? So we measure all of these elements as a constellation, if you will, and not just have one, because you could drive wrong behavior in each of those instances if you just focus on one element. But in each of those instances, anybody in the broader groups for applications development, that includes our support teams, success teams, our DevOps teams, our product management teams, et cetera, every one of those teams can connect back into those metrics and go, I have a role to play. And that's how, this connective tissue gets built.
I think every organization knows it's vital to be customer-centric, but that means different things to different organizations. So what do you think customer centricity means to Oracle?
So this is understanding where the customer is in their journey and helping them where they need to be helped and providing them advice and counsel. Again, continuity of experience, consistency of experience. And how does that translate into what you do on a day-to-day basis, right? There are certain teams and roles which will face the client across the board, right? How do we ensure that's a high quality interaction that doesn't show up as 10 different companies having a unified point of view on what do we know about this customer, where they're at, what their culture is like, how they make decisions, is what they're expecting. So you have to mobilize your teams around this. You have to change what you measure in terms of how you hold your teams accountable, and you have to have a point of view on what are the phases and how do we talk about our phases and what do we do with each of our phases as the customer goes from I made a decision to go with you to wow, I've achieved my business objective.
So obviously an important stage for the customers is going live, but after that, after you're live, that relationship evolves. So what does it look like at that stage after a customer is live?
Yeah, so live is when the clock starts, right? Value hasn't been delivered yet outside of I successfully deployed this particular technology. My implementation project is done. So this is where a lot of the conversations become around how do I manage and operate in the cloud? What should I be taking advantage of in the product that I'm not already? How can I connect the dots into what I'm using with what my board expects, what my C-suite expects, what my manager expects as an outcome? For example, am I able to close my books faster? Am I able to process invoices faster? So on and so forth. It also requires much more responsiveness in terms of when things may or go bump in the night. It happens, right? How do we get ahead of that? So examples of what we've done in this space, that initial element of advice is really how our customer success managers engage with our clients, and we provide a customer success deliverables, which provides that advice and counsel. But we've also built out monitoring, which will look at what's happening in our client environments and remediate proactively. End game here is all of this happens all the time, and it's not using the notion of a support ticket. But if we're able to actually understand these are the things we monitor, you get to that predictive and preemptive state. So these are all the types of things we're investing in, right? Because then you're getting value. Then I'm able to take advantage of this technology and achieve the transformation goals that I'd set forth as a client.
So if there was some insights that you wanted to give to our customers, what would that be?
We're evolving too. So a lot of these areas that I'm talking about is areas we're investing in, areas we're prioritizing. There isn't a specific finish line that we've said, once we get there, we're done. Because as our customers evolve, as their needs evolve, as their expectations evolve, we have to match that and we have to be outpacing that so we can truly delight them. So this is a journey, right? And I'd ask all of our customers to come with us on this journey. Our goal is to make sure you're successful. And that percolates everything we do and everything we focus on and everything we measure.
That's great. Maz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you.